interesting because tonally you have to believe that there is this impending danger from these zombies, and at the same time you have to ride this line of comedy, and that sometimes can be a bit tricky.
It's nice.
Smell the finger?
It's not a slapstick comedy by any means, and it's not a terrifying horror movie, but there's elements of all of that, and that's what makes it interesting.
Stay down on the ankle after the first break, and then jam it again.
As a first-time director, when you're thinking about what kind of movie you want to make, I definitely was excited because of all the different aspects of this film.
As much as it's like a funny, scary, crazy movie, it's also about making a family.
It's a really multifaceted zombie movie. Who knew you could, make a movie like that?
My mama always told me, someday I'd be good at something. Who'd have guessed that something be zombie killing?
Probably nobody.
We devised the story for Zombieland when we realized there had never been zombies on television before, and we wanted to make that happen. So we wrote a television pilot, and unfortunately, it didn't get made.
So we tried to find another way of getting the show made. So then I came up with the idea of making it into a movie and doing it low budget, and then everybody got on board for that idea.
And at that moment, we had two very passionate people, Gavin Polone and Chris Parnell, who just wouldn't let it die. And much like a zombie, it rose from the dead and became a feature film.
You don't know what you're going to read when you read a script like that, with that title. And immediately, the minute you meet these characters, you want to do the movie because it's really a character story.
Let me begin my three-part apology by saying that I think you're a wonderful human with great potential.
But FYI, I beat wholesale ass for a lot less than that.
I'm sure.
I love the script. It really sparked a lot of ideas for me. I really responded immediately to the writing and to the humor and to the characters and loved all those parts of it.
All right, ready on the count of three. Let's see some zombie faces. 1, 2, 3. Keep going, keep going.
My pitch all along has been Midnight Run with zombies. You take a badass kind of guy and a nerdy kind of guy. They're paired up together and they go on an adventure and they fight extenuating circumstances. And ours just happen to be zombies. But it's always about the people before the zombies or the action or anything else.
Ruben knows these characters so well, he's thought about it so much, and has such a sensitivity towards making us realistic, even in this world that seems, totally unrealistic and crazy.
What do you think? Zombie kill of the week?
Our cast is just fantastic in this movie. It's, we essentially have what we think is sort of the greatest, most eclectic group of actors ever to be in a zombie movie when you really look at it.
There's an alchemy that goes on when you find the right actor for the right role. And I think we've got it going on with all four of our leads.
Here's the deal, Columbus. I'm not easy to get along with, and I'm sensing you're a bit of a bitch. So, I give this relationship to about Texarkana.
Woody has some qualities that shine in Tallahassee, the lovability, the sense of humor.
I guess I never really had a concept that I would do a zombie movie. In fact, I remember having 5 scripts in my bag, and I put that dead bottom, like Zombieland. And by the way, the whole time my agent's telling me, read Zombieland. So finally read it, I couldn't stop. It was just a page turner. So met with Ruben, we had a really good meeting, and everything worked out.
He really was the person that I was just pushing for all along, because I thought it would be a return to this sort of like wild, natural-born killers guy, but with the humor that he laces through it.
Anybody hungry? Tallahassee's nice this time of year. Come on!
From top to bottom, like the jackets, he basically designed with the costume designer himself to make sure that he had made a big impression with that snakeskin jacket and his cowboy hat.
this movie than shooting guns. I did train some with some really good gun experts. Actually really enjoyed that.
You were like a giant cock-blocking robot, like developed in a secret fucking government lab.
Hey.
When I read the script, Jesse was somebody who, from the beginning, I was always on the top of my list. I mean, there's a lot of really talented young actors, but he's just got this innate humor, but also this sensitivity, and you can really picture him being the biggest coward in the world.
I'm considering opening that bathroom door. Notice what a huge wuss I am. Seriously, I don't have the spine God gave one of those trembly toy poodles, the kind that pees on eye contact. I loved the character when I read it. I could certainly relate to like being obsessive compulsive about like things and wanting to have everything in order, often at the expense of like enjoying things. So I thought it was really written very honestly and clearly, that kind of struggle.
We actually had some auditions with different actors, and we had a few of them read with Woody, and it was clear to me that Jesse was the guy, but then Woody really hammered it home and said, no, Jesse's the guy.
They're in the back, aren't they?
Just me.
I'm really sorry.
You got taken hostage by a 12-year-old?
Yeah, well, girls mature a lot faster than boys. She's way ahead of where I was at that age.
Jesse's great, you know. I really have enjoyed it. He's got his own little quirky, amazing sense of humor, and I think that we've really forged a nice friendship on film and off.
Emma Stone, I don't think has done any role like this before. This role's not a comedic role. It's just kind of like the femme fatale, the kind of classically just hot, badass chick. And what's so amazing about Emma is that she can do all that, but then she also has a comedy to back it up.
It's your sister. That's my gun. Hello?
For some reason, I read this script and I was like, now I can relate to how people would feel if the world was post-apocalyptic and zombie-ridden. You know, the way these people react is very accurate in this situation, and the fact that I could say that after reading the script was reason enough to want to do the movie.
Most like just traditionally hot actresses, I don't think have her comedic sensibility and can't show all the sides of this character that she's created. And I feel very lucky to get to work with her.
She's just one of those actresses, she just got it. There's something really pure and smart, clever. I think she's a great actress. I really do. I can't believe she's 20.
No Twinkies.
When I read the script, I was like, well, we should get somebody, you know, Abigail Breslin would be great, but there's no way that it'll ever be Abigail Breslin, so we'll just have to find somebody. And that's kind of how it went for a really long time. And then somehow she's in this movie. I think she really liked the script and wanted to do something a little bit different.
I thought that it was fun. It's different from anything I've ever done. I mean, I've never done a zombie movie, so I thought that it would be really cool. And my character, I really like, because she's very feisty, I guess. She kind of, I get to say some pretty cool things, and I just liked her a lot. Gun, please.
Like you'd actually use that thing. Jesus H. Christ and low-rise jeans.
I like the scene where I pretend to be a zombie, so I have this fake blood and habanero sauce on my arm, and then I lick it off, which was kind of disgusting because you have the peppermint-flavored fake blood mixed with mild salsa. So not my favorite, but it was pretty fun to do.
In the scene, she had to cry, and she did every single take crying. And even when she was not on screen, she was crying, you know, when someone else is close up.
I think everyone from Woody, Jesse, Emma, everybody was impressed by her every day. I mean, she's just the real deal.
She's phenomenal, and she's really fun to hang out with.
This is now the United States of Zombieland.
For our zombies, I knew I didn't want them to be Romero-style zombies, like classic zombies. I didn't want to retread any of the same ground with another zombie comedy. I think the less thinking and acting that our zombies do, the better. It should just be like pure ferociousness. And it's about the movement and the erraticness, the scariness, the face, and then the viciousness of everything to me. That was great. I've tried to like sprinkle more than just people with like businessmen or jeans and t-shirts, and also having some actual real characters. Like there's a fast food worker or some of the LA stereotypes, and if you watch the amusement park, you can kind of spot some of these zombie types. I also really wanted to ground it in reality, like find a real disease that could have evolved and taken over people to make them turn into this thing. So it's more of a viral-based situation as opposed to an undead situation. We spent a lot of time researching, really discussing things like syphilis and mad cow disease, Ebola, and saw some really gnarly research photos of the way that the disease manifests. And we really linked our zombie prosthetics and makeup on real medical situations where it's a combination of sores that are pussing and skin that's falling off.
What we were trying to go with here is that they're infected, they're sick, they're still alive, but they're raging fevers, they're always wet, they're always dripping, they're hemorrhaging from all their orifices and spewing up black bile-like material.
Hi, I'm Amber Heard. I'm on set of Zombieland, and I'm going for my special makeup to get zombified.
Once production started, myself and Jamie Kelman, who's the second on the show, are in charge of the day-to-day look of the zombies, the application of makeups.
Is it too late to pull out of this movie?
The more involved makeups, which include the prosthetic appliances, are anywhere from an hour to an hour and a half. And then we have a mid-range level, which is a half hour, which does not involve prosthetics. It's more of a paint job and application involving drippy, gooey stuff and tooth stain and contact lenses. And then the background, which are about a 15-minute makeup job, are more or less just the dripping, just the wetness and blood and spew coming out of their mouth.
I've never been afraid of zombies, but the makeup that they have with the zombies in are so scary. Those are probably the hardest scenes that I've had to do, running from the zombies and everything, because you kind of get an adrenaline rush when you're being chased by 25 people and bleeding and drooling.
The makeup is incredible. I kind of, wish I had just a little wound there or something on the neck, because it seems like it'd be fun to put on. They all kind of look like small George O'Keeffe paintings on the face.
Hi. Nice to meet you. Howdy. Amber. Your lenses are in.
I'm not as disappointed about not getting to be a zombie as Abigail is. Abigail really, really wants to be a zombie. She says it all the time.
Oh my God. Unbelievable. It looks so weird. That is really cool. That's amazing. It looks cool though.
I have asked everybody if I could turn into a zombie at the end of the movie, and they all say no. And it's really upsetting because I see all the zombies and they're so cool, and they get to have like everything coming out of their mouth, and they get to walk all cool and have the great makeup, and it's like, honestly, I just get to be running away from them. I sort of ask them questions about how the makeup feels and living vicariously through them.
She's really excited about it, and I think it looks really sticky. Literally sticky.
As Miss Underworld, I promise to promote world peace and dental hygiene.
Finally got to first base. Not bad for that scrawny little spit fuck.
This movie really relied on fate in a lot of ways. The fact that we ended up in Georgia, the fact that we ended up at that amusement park, everything just kind of fallen into place in a really nice way and made it a lot easier than it could have otherwise been.
I think there's a real escapist quality to a zombie movie. It's a fantasy. I'm one of the last few people alive, and somehow I made it, and there are only a few of us, and we're very, very important.
It's kind of that thing of like, if you're in a post-apocalyptic world and you can go anywhere or do anything, what are you gonna do?
That's the poster right there.
When I make this movie, I have the audience very much in mind. I want it to be believable and grounded and exciting and scary and, you know, all the different beats that are in this movie I want to play.
Got it. That was perfect. Dead perfect. Great.
I've never really had a fear of zombies. I know a lot of people are like terrified of zombies, but now I'm terrified of terminal, scary, brain dwindling diseases. Thanks, Zombieland.
Background?
Ruben created this really wonderful environment.
Day one.
You know, even with the confines of zombie movie, they were maintaining kind of this reality. It was just incredible.
Marker. You start with the script and then you kind of envision it, but it really comes to life once you get the production designer and the DP involved and make it look spectacular. And basically, as a director, you just sit back and watch.
Yeah, that was great. But first and foremost is really creating a universe where there's no traffic, no people, no civilization that is active. That's a lot of production work.
Our production designer has done a great job of just making the world seem vacant. I got super lucky in finding Maher Ahmed. I don't know how he does it.
I'm Maher Ahmed, the production designer.
My different sets are like children. Some of them are prettier than others, some of them are more well-behaved than others, but I kind of love them all.
What the hell are we doing?
Just humor him, trust me.
At our Kemosabe Indian trading post, I went and did a lot of historical research on what these places look like. The trick with that set is the whole place needs to be just smashed apart. So I developed a design for the shelves that is one that lends itself to being busted up. And our set decorator, Gene Sardina, has just gotten hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pottery, crocks and pots and stuff to break up, and pictures and all kinds of things.
And action.
Doesn't that feel good?
Breaking stuff appeals to the innermost kid in everybody, and they just get started and nobody cares. The place is abandoned and they just have a lot of fun being destructive, but it's a benign destruction in this world of just incredibly malignant destruction that surrounds them.
Time to nut up or shut up.
The grocery store he built from scratch, there was nothing in it. It was completely vacant before we got there.
We're rolling.
We had originally thought about going into a real grocery store, and it's just not a practical kind of thing. We would have destroyed a lot of the stock, and it would have been expensive to buy the place out.
And action.
We found a closed grocery store that we dressed from scratch, and it was a huge amount of work. I mean, we brought in just row after row after row, shelf after shelf after shelf of food products, and we did some tricky things.
So we are here in the fake supermarket to film the fake movie about fake dead people. And inside the fake freezers, you'll notice that there are not actual products, but pictures of products, which are probably more nutritious than the products.
We made up dead meat with foam. Painters painted it like it was all moldy and rotten. We wrapped it up in trays and stuff, so it was a lot of fun. We had really only one set that you would call a set kind of set, and that was Columbus's apartment, which is a flashback to his first encounter with a zombie. That set was, I think, a good choice for us to make because there was a very particular set of actions that Ruben wanted to have happen, and he had storyboarded it very carefully.
We're in the middle of shooting our 406 sequence, and these are all the boards for the action that we need to pull off. But we have it all figured out, It's just now a matter of getting each of the angles and crossing them off as we go along.
It was apparent that this would best be done by building the set because he could get all of the angles he wanted and the particular action he wanted.
Right. Ah! Shit, I'm so sorry. Ah!
Good. Let's have the blood.
I designed the set around the storyboards, and I think Ruben was very happy with it, and Jesse was very happy with it in terms of not just the way it looked, because production design is not just about the way things look, but it's also about accommodating the action, which is very, very important. And I like to think that this set accommodated the action very well in terms of telling the story of what happened in this space and revealing the character of, Columbus, one of our main characters.
Great cut. Good. Got it. The scene that just blew my mind was the highway scene where Columbus and Tallahassee first meet. We had 75 cars and 30 wrecks and a boat on another car, and just the scale of the destruction and devastation was serious production value.
This particular post-apocalyptic landscape is one more of abandonment than of outright destruction.
We don't see a lot of bodies. It's as if everyone just kind of got up and left or got up and eaten.
Oh my God, makes you sick.
It's a not very populated world where these guys can drive through and maybe not see a zombie for 400 miles, but then in places like LA, where there's a greater density, there'll be a lot more zombies.
Come on.
We're not that deep into the zombies taking over. It's only like a couple months, I think, is what we decided from when the zombies first appeared. It's not like there's a lot of buildings falling down or vegetation growing over buildings, but it is one of the spookiness that comes with abandonment and the fear that comes from not knowing what is around any corner.
You have just survived the zombie apocalypse and drove halfway across the country. Where are you gonna go?
I'm going to Pacific Playland! Woo!
Zombieland was originally conceived as an hour-long television pilot. So it ended with our girls, Emma and Abby, stealing the guy's car and driving off into the sunset. It was very much a cliffhanger. When we expanded it into a feature, clearly that was not going to work anymore.
They were struggling with how to figure out the ending, and I pitched this whole amusement park idea, and I think they really responded to it.
Suddenly, the amusement park became the anchor for our movie. It became a sandbox to play in terms of writing action.
Holy shit.
We shot in Valdosta, Georgia, 4 hours away, which was a hike. But it's a smaller park, and it gave us a much better density of look.
Well, Valdosta was a bit of a surprise in that we thought, hey, South Georgia, it's a swamp. It's the Okefenokee Swamp. It's going to be a little bit muggy. We brought our shorts, we brought our mosquito repellent, and found ourselves working nights from about 6 p.m. until 6 a.m. every night in 20-degree weather. And so suddenly we had to ditch the mosquito repellent and put on our Mount Everest Himalaya gear. And the locals were fantastic. These people were dressed as zombies in light clothing, standing out in 20 degrees all night, and my hat was off to our zombies.
Yeah, it was great to shoot at the amusement park. It was, like a contained location for 3 weeks, so that you were able to get used to the location a little bit. It also created this really wonderful environment to kind of have this game of running from the zombies.
That was really good, though. You looked really scared when you were coming down. It looked crazy. There was just like nothing but zombies at the base.
While we're on the blast off, in the back of the ride, it blows air at you, and it was like something like 27 degrees outside.
You had to just be stuck like 7 stories up on this ride in these harnesses for like an hour at a time. It got pretty cold, I'm not gonna lie.
It kind of helps though to look upset when you're freezing cold.
I really liked Valdosta, but I gotta say it was it's hard shooting nights. I don't think it's the way we're meant to be. In fact, I know it's not. Yeah, it's kind of rough. The night shooting it's not good for a fellow like me, a fragile little fellow who needs to sleep.
Originally, we were supposed to shoot the amusement park at the end of the schedule, but due to the various considerations, it was put at the beginning. And I was so afraid of that when it was originally changed.
Shooting out of context is tough just because you have to think about, like, where would I be at this point when I've already experienced this, which I've never experienced before.
I was thinking, oh my God, we're shooting the end of the movie first. Like, I know this is gonna be stupid.
It just seemed like there was no way we'd be able to get through it or recover from. But as soon as we kind of got in there and found our way, we did pretty well.
Wrap it up. Roll it.
The thing about the theme park was that this is the only time we're really being, overtaken by this many zombies, and I think the reaction would be the same whether we shot it first or last, just because it's such a scary situation that we don't really endure at any other point in the movie.
The end of the movie is so different from everything else. There's not really any talking. There's no dialogue. It's like, there.
There.
Run.
Come on. Hurry.
Help.
Oh my God.
It's like there's no scenes really.
It made me streamline what I was doing, like things that would have been problematic if we started with just scenes where we're acting instead of doing like the action stuff. I was gonna try this weird kind of stuttering affectation, and I think I might have gone the wrong direction.
For the actors and me, it was nice to really work on the characters and figure out who they're playing so that when we come back and do the stuff that really matters, I think everyone has a good sense of each other. I have a good relationship with them, and so I think it actually ended up being really beneficial.
The fact that we started doing that stuff did help me get into my character's mindset without trying some crazy shit that would have just been a disaster,
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I feel like I couldn't be better taken care of as a first-time director, and just getting lucky enough to work with the talented people that made this movie so much better than it would have been if left to my own devices.
I thought it looked great.
Yeah, let's say we got it. Okay.
The interesting thing about working in the movie business is that it is a collaborative effort.
Straight up. You got it.
What is brilliant about working with other people is ideas are constantly flowing and bouncing, and I like to say that sometimes a bad idea is great because it triggers a good idea that would not have been triggered if somebody didn't say something stupid.
That'll do, pig.
That's the worst goodbye I've ever heard. Rule number 2, Ziploc bags. You got enough problems. Moisture shouldn't be one of them. You tell yourself over and over, this did not just happen. It did not. It did not. It did not. It couldn't have. It couldn't have. But it did. In the face of every sane thing that came before it, and all that I'd come to know and expect about the world, it did. A zombie isn't a dead person who's just come back to life. It's someone who's been infected with the plague of the 21st century. Zombieism's carried in bodily fluid. And these fluids are highly contagious and fast-acting when they mix with your fluids. So if you're thinking of going tongue to tonsil with your suddenly less cute neighbor, try something a little more innocent. Mom and Dad would have to wait.
B-holes. Joke's on them. What I swiped from under the seat.
Hey, this bag ain't gonna carry itself.
The muscles, the way he sucked in his stomach. I'm guessing 8th grade PE teacher. I can see him in powder blue dolphin shorts.
Or pool guy. Or like concert security.
Maybe we're underestimating him.
Nah.
The skinny one?
Get some sun.
I know. He kind of screamed Kinko's.
Or Lady Footlocker.
Whoa.
You know what's amazing?
What?
If they got this far. I mean, they should be so proud.
I know. They can die happy. No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
We are not going back. What did we say?
Trust no one, just you and me.
You and me. Even if it means leaving behind the slow or the weak.
Or one slow and one weak.
Right.
You know, I saw this Discovery Channel show on like wildebeest herds or something, and they always wait for the slow and the weak. You know, that way when the lions show up, they only eat the slow and the weak.
As much fun as you remember?
Columbus puked on this. Yes! We got
Cold?
No.
You know, I never thought I would say this to you, but I think we could speed up.
How long before?
You climb down?
They climb up. Don't worry. You'll think of something. You always think of something.